go ahead and tweet out the link as well. See original up in the space as well. Rerod, what's going on with you as well, sister? And go ahead and we're gonna get this thing rolling. We're gonna be talking about Diamond and Silk. Basically, we're gonna be talking about Diamond. Ron DeSantis, he ended up having to call out the National Guard here in Florida and the Florida Keys because of you had a bunch of migrants and stuff coming to the Florida Keys. What's going on, Professor? We're also going to be talking about the Dana White situation too, and how ESPN basically told their reporters not to mention it, not to make matters worse. So I appreciate everybody that's coming up in the space tonight. We definitely appreciate you guys having you guys up in here. And we will be starting this up in just a second. Professor, what's going on, man? See my man Professor already requesting to come on up, which is cool with me. Professor, how you doing?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I hope you're ready for an interesting conversation tonight, lad. We're gonna be hitting up. We didn't do one last night, but we back again. So we're gonna be covering three topics. We're gonna be talking about Diamond. We're gonna be talking about Ron DeSantis pulling out the National Guard here in Florida because of the migrants coming down to the Florida Keys. And we also going to be talking about the Dana White situation and how ESPN and some of the reporters were saying that they were told not to mention it, not to make matters basically worse than what it already was. So glad to have you up in the spot as well, too, Professor. Ray, what's going on? I just sent you the co-host invite as well, too. I see my girl Goddess is up in here. How you doing, sister? Glad to see you up in here. King Lion, what's going on? As well too. So bunch of our people coming up in the spot. I see that. I'm glad to have you. Shout out to you as well, Kay.
And congratulations, Ray. Congratulations on them Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, that was a bloodbath last night. That wasn't even no damn championship game. Never put TCU ass back in there. Keep them soft Big 12 teams right where they at, man. Don't put them back up in here no more, man. Straight up. That was ridiculous. Like they gifted the SEC a championship last night, man. I don't even want to. That was ridiculous.
That was the first thing I was going to talk about when I came here. I looked a bit tall. I said, well, I'm about to throw that Georgia. I can't let them get away without talking about this nanny, man. But when they, I think it was 45-7, and then it was like 50-something-7, and then it was 6. I was like, hey, stop it. Y'all showing up. Stop it. Don't y'all do that no more. Oh, man, that was such a great, for Georgia fans.
Hey, look, man, I got to give it to Georgia, man. 2 years straight, man. So they have a dynasty going on right there, man. They really got something going there. Kirby, I tell you what, when Kirby left Alabama became different after Kirby, y'all. So that tells you what a difference can make when one of your coordinators leave your program. Alabama has not been the same since Kirby left that program.
News, if you didn't notice, but Kirby Smart is actually FSU alone.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. Let me give a shout out to Mother Earth. I see you was in the actual space on YouTube, and I see you going, but shout out to you, Mother Earth, as well. You may come back. No, I didn't know that, man. I did not know that at all, that he went to FSU.
Yeah, he graduated, I think 2000, I forget. Don't keep me up here lying. Let me look it up real quick. He graduated from FSU with his master's in 2003. He worked as an assistant graduate under Bobby Bowden in Florida State.
All right. And y'all, like I said, we're going to be, DJ, shout out to you. We're going to be discussing this because I see people coming into the room now. So I'm going to go ahead and start to dig in. How's the reception? Can you guys can hear me pretty good in here?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. Got in the headpiece. I hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you real good, man. You sound really good on here.
Okay. DJ, what's going on, man? We going to get ready to get right up into this here.
Georgia Bulldogs in the building, and I ain't even from Georgia, but that was an ass whooping, right? You know what I'm saying? Why you do that to them TCU boys like that? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, man. We got to let them know the SEC play a different level of football.
Word up. Hopefully Ruckus will get in that shit. Same. Awesome.
Y'all, I'm gonna touch up on the actual the passing of Diamond from Diamond and Silk first. We're gonna cover all three topics tonight. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I want to go ahead, since this was the story that was trending last night and still trending today as well too. I was not I don't wish death on anybody. I just experienced that myself with the loss of my mother. So, this article came from Black Enterprise. It's in the Jumbotron. It was curated on Newstoter.com platform. So the actual title, I just want everybody to know I did not come up with this, and I'm not making light of the person passing away either. This is Black Enterprise. This is their words, not mine. It was curated on the platform, but I did not come up with this. From Black Enterprise, it says Trump's minion, Diamond, a Diamond and Silk, dead at 51. Very, very short article. I'm going to touch up on this, and I'm going to hit the Dana White, and I'm going to hit the Ron DeSantis as well. It says a controversial ride or die rabble-rouser known as Diamond, who supported former President Donald Trump and his lies, has died unexpectedly. Diamond-born Lynette Hardaway is now stumping on the other side in the upper room after she passed away at her home on Monday, the Daily Beast reports. Trump reportedly announced the news on his Truth Social site. On Twitter, the pro-Trump duo's official Twitter account, which Diamond shared with her sister, Rochelle Richardson, announced the news and released a statement. Diamond blazed a trail founded on her passion and love for the entire race of humanity. A statement on the fundraising page for her memorial. The memory of her passing should forever remain in our hearts. In this time of grief, please respect the privacy of Diamond's family, but remember and celebrate the gift that she gave us all. As of late, the sisters have been more quiet than usual, especially after they were ousted from being hosts on Fox News. The Black conservatives seem to have issues with the same network that has been accused many times over the years about its racist slants in national news coverage. Diamond and Silk were hired by Fox News to produce videos for its streaming platform, Fox Nation. The pair was let go in April after spreading coronavirus conspiracies and stating that the death count of COVID-19 was an attempt to make President Donald Trump look bad. In their book, Silk goes on about them being shut down for speaking about the same theories and rhetoric as the Fox News marquee hosts. No word on how Diamond died, but we're pretty sure if it was COVID, they'll keep the news to themselves. So, yeah, like I said, I definitely don't wish death on anybody. I know that they were big time conservatives. A lot of issues, race issues, they kind of just swept under the rug. So, like I said, I hate to see anybody pass away after experiencing it myself, but at the same time, there's a lot. I mean, Black Twitter, and I know that's what we call it, Black Twitter. Black Twitter was pretty going off. They were saying all kind of things about Diamond and Silk and what they felt was just pretty much just buffoonery at the highest level, and just a lot of behind kissing. So it was not a pretty picture. Their legacy, I did find it funny that rarely do you see a lot of these right-wing sites and news outlets you really grieve over the loss of a Black person, but they couldn't really stop complimenting Diamond as well. They loved her, and they talked about her in glowing terms. Somebody today wrote a post saying that they're trying to boost Diamond up like they did John Lewis. I would say it's a difference now, whether you agree with John Lewis politics or not. I would definitely have to say that, John Lewis actually, and there's a lot of people I know they're not particularly fond of John Lewis, but I wouldn't put John Lewis on the same level as Diamond and Silk. That's just me personally. I know a lot of people may disagree, but I whether you agree with his politics, whether you think that John Lewis, was just pretty much a cup holder for the Democratic Party or whatever. Diamond and Silk, they took some of this slapstick stuff, some of these things just to another level, man. Like I say, and we spoke about that the other night with the guy that wrote the article about Black fathers and things of that nature. Ray, I'm trying to prove you, but I keep clicking. Okay, it finally went through, but I wouldn't put John Lewis. I wasn't really big on John Lewis's politics, and a lot of when I was growing up, people didn't really put John Lewis on this pedestal like they would later on after his death. But I don't know if I could quite compare the two of them. That's just my personal opinion. Professor, how do you feel about that? Would you like I said, I know you may not be a John Lewis fan either, but I'm not quite sure. I would that was just a comment that one of our followers put out there today, and they were saying that they were trying to elevate her to that same status as somebody like John Lewis.
Oh, hell no. Ooh, Jesus, man. There's no way you can elevate her to that status. It's just no way. But do I feel bad, y'all, about the sister passing away? I do feel bad about the sister passing away. Any of our people, because I'm pretty sure she's Black American, but unfortunately she was on the wrong side of the story. And she sold out. We just have to tell her like it is.
Sold out big time.
Yes, big time, y'all. She sold out, but God is with her. I say God be with her family. I hate that, that it had to come down like this, because 51 is very young. That's a very young age to pass away, and they probably won't or release what happened to her. But I do pray for her family, because, we all have experienced death, and we know how a trying time it can be for a family when going through this. So I say, let's pray for Diamond, but I can't agree with the politics, y'all. I never could understand why this sister went along the lines that she did. And the only thing I can think of, y'all, is that she, like a lot of our people, they sell out for money. They offer you a certain amount of money, and you kind of looking at the fact, well, hey, I can get this money, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not really worried about what happens with everybody else. Everybody else got to get theirs. See, that's what our people do now. Our people, we always on, I don't know what it is. Our people seem to be on that level now. It's like, I got to get mine. And just like I got mine, you can go get yours. That's what our people say now. Don't y'all agree? I'm gonna land my plane right there.
I definitely agree, man. It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money, and it's a 6-7 figure salary if you have the right personality and you can sell out hard enough. You can definitely make a lot of money and have a nice life for yourself. So, like I say, I'm like you, Professor. I don't want to make short of the sister life, despite her politics or this and that, which I didn't agree with. I'm not here to kick dirt on somebody's grave. I just don't see the legacy that that a lot of these right-wing sites and media outlets and right-wing pundits are trying to lay down. I don't see that. Like I said, at the same time, I want to be respectful as possible, but I don't see the actual the great things that she did for the Black community. It was interesting in that statement. I know they were saying that her sister that what she meant for the entire humanity and stuff like that. When you start hearing phrases like that, because a lot of times, like, people, they try to act like racism doesn't exist, white supremacy doesn't exist, and stuff like that. So, DJ, I know you had unmute your mic for a second. My bad.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought you was gonna add something, but yeah, it was so many. I just, like I said, I wasn't an avid listener because I've never been an avid listener of Fox, but I've seen like headlines and clips and little things and stuff like that. And, just the COVID thing, like I said, they haven't released, but I thought somebody, and, I could be wrong, but I thought I heard somebody say that she may even had COVID at one time, which, COVID, I know a lot of people kind of, when it first came out, they joked about it and it made it seem like it was nothing at all, but COVID has been a killer. COVID is no joke. So, Ray, you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, she was one of those, COVID deniers, and she was, doing that on Fox News. She made a whole lot of money on her family. I'm not gonna talk down on the dead. That's not, something I do. But I will say this. I said it before. There is no retirement plan for Cooney. I want to make that very clear. There's no retirement plan for Cooney. This woman, I'm not gonna speak deal on the dead, but all that stuff that happened during her lifetime, she's got to have a doggone GoFundMe, and she has all these conservatives and right-wing people that claim they love her so much, but how much she really see them doing for her and donate for them and stuff like that. I land my plane. I'm not gonna speak up on the dead.
Yeah, Ray, and you said that, and I read that too about her fundraising. I found that interesting. Like, I would have thought that this person, would have had a pretty decent, it doesn't take a whole lot of money to have burial insurance, and that's something else. We may have to start doing a space on that as well too, because our people, we kind of slipping. Like, somebody in her position, should have had life insurance, should have had burial insurance, at the very least enough to bury you, whether that's $15,000 or something like that. We got to kind of, as a people, kind of do a little bit better. But yeah, I saw that like a fundraiser. I'm like, well, I would have thought that this woman been on Fox and everything else, and I'm sure made the rounds doing speaking engagements and stuff like that. And you're right, all these right wing people that loved her and stuff like that, you think that they would already, taking care of the footed the bill for the actual funeral services and stuff like that. So the fact that these people that claim to love her so much haven't come out and actually paid or anything like that, and that is a little bit surprising. Go ahead, Ray.
I'm sorry, but since we're on the subject of funerals, man, I just wanted to really, really quickly talk. I hate, you said you're talking about funeral insurance and things like that. There was this rapper named Big Scar, Gucci Mane. He paid $10,000 for this guy to have his funeral. I guess I don't know what he died of. I believe he got shot. Something happened, from the shooting or whatever. He ended up dying from it. But Gucci himself put $10,000 on this young man's funeral. The family spent that on like the casket, flowers, and all this other stuff, man. And they asked this, they asked the Gucci man to give me more, but which is ridiculous because first of all, he's not even family. He was doing out of kindness of his heart. And it doesn't take $10, $20, $30, $40,000 to bury nobody.
No, that's true. Minx, I see you that you're requesting to come up. Did you want to say anything on this topic real quick about Diamond as well?
Hey, yes, good evening, everybody. I was reading online that she had contracted COVID in November around Thanksgiving, and her sister was asking for prayers. A few outlets were reporting it. I know there's a story in Newsweek that said that. They're also saying that's what she died from. But, hey, we don't know. But that's what I was reading.
That's what I was saying, because I was like, because I thought I saw that too as well. Like I was saying, well, because they even at the end of that article from Black Enterprise, they mentioned COVID. And they said, well, if she died from it, they're not gonna say it and this and that. But I didn't want to just go ahead because I said I know I saw that as well. So thank you, Meeks. I'm like, I know I saw somewhere in November they were saying it. That's why I said, well, I think, because I wanted to say I didn't know for certain. I said I think that I had heard something about her contracting COVID as well too. So.
But Newstoter, I remember seeing it back in November. But see, a lot of times with this COVID, they say it attacks people with certain immune systems, like if you have other issues, underlying issues going on in your health, such as diabetes or something like that. They said that's who it mainly affects. So she might have had some other issues going on, and then of course this COVID also just kind of took it on down even further for her. But I remember seeing that, and they never said anything else about it. But she could have had other underlying issues.
Real talk, because COVID, if you have any underlying issues and you get hit with that COVID, and it can be definitely a killer. So I can definitely speak to that for experience. If you have any serious health issues and you get that COVID, it can definitely do a number on you. Iron Malt, I see that you raise your hand. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah. Big Scar died of drug overdose on fentanyl. Did the gasoline in his car. Just passing on information.
Okay, appreciate that. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Original?
Hey, not a whole lot. Just peace, black power, and reparation. 2023.com. Yeah, I don't, this is my first time hearing of this, that, because I don't follow a lot of stuff like that, keep up with those people, but I'll say this though, she was not any different than a lot of these Democratic coons that come out here and want to tell us to go out there and vote blue no matter who. You know what I'm saying? She's no different than a lot of them, because see, they're telling, the conservative will tell black people that the Democrats don't do anything for you. But then when you ask them, well, what are the Republicans offering us, for our vote? then they start stuttering and everything, and they don't know what to say. They say, well, it's not really well. They're gonna have to keep taxes low. Okay, fine, but what is their platform for U.S. descendants of chattel slavery? So like I said, and on the John Lewis tip, it's like now what John Lewis did during the civil rights movement, it was great, it was powerful, and I can't knock him for any of that. But those subsequent years after the civil rights movement, when he got into politics, John Lewis didn't do anything for black people. Now, I don't know if you remember now, you had No Taxation, who she knew John Lewis personally, and she knows the family. And she said that she went up to John Lewis's office, and them gay white folks wouldn't let her see him. She had to call his sister, and his sister had to call down there and tell those people just who she was and that she has the right to see him. See what John Lewis did. He used our vote, and he used what he did during the civil rights movement to represent every demographic except for us. And so, like I said, I had someone to get angry with me because I told them, as long as I've been living in the 5th Congressional District, that I never once voted for John Lewis before he died. I said because he wasn't doing anything for black people. His whole objective was to push whatever the Democrats were pushing, and to make sure that everybody except for us benefited from our vote. And that's not being mean spirited. That is just the truth. But there were several times where I saw where John Lewis, he had an opportunity to support what the community wanted, but he was, granted, you can choose whatever side you want to be on, but he was always on the opposing side as to what the community wanted. He wasn't, in these subsequent years, he wasn't with the community at all. He was for himself, and he was for the gay white folks and the illegal aliens and everything else, but he was not for black people, unfortunately. That's just being real with it. Because I remember I'll be driving down North Avenue, and I saw these little white kids, they waving signs for John Lewis. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then someone told me, they said, oh, well, he's hooked in with Georgia Tech, and they'll have those little white kids that come out there to give the perception that, all these white folks are supporting John Lewis or move, whatever. But it was amazing, as to how these people, whether they be Democrat or Republican, just how they have just totally failed. I'm going to say failed, how they have just worked against our best interests. And they left us in a situation that we're having difficulty with now. And and this Diamond and Silk, they're not any different. Because I'm not into, the Democrat and Republican thing. I'm into what is your platform for U.S. descendants of chattel slavery. And if you don't have a platform for us, I don't have a vote for you. I am not sorry to say that. I'm really not. And I'll land on that.
All right, and I would say that, like you say, John Lewis at one time he did do something. Like I say, I don't really know what accomplishments you can really say for Diamond and Silk outside of as the article stated, being rabble rousers, basically, and for the right wing media and kind of stirring up that fan base and saying a lot of the stuff that they want to hear about black people. So I don't really know exactly what was beneficial that they really did for black people. But I guess you'll have people from the right wing say that they were for all people and they weren't racist and this and that. You know how that stuff will go there. They were for everybody. They didn't just think about black people as a whole. They thought of themselves as Americans first. So I kind of know how the actual how the framework goes when they started talking about people like that as well too. Like Charles Barkley. Like Charles Barkley is somebody that Fox News loves as well too. So that I mean, like I say, not to talk down on the sister or whatever, because 51, like Professor said, that's young. But pretty much they were just there for entertainment purposes. I believe they were just there to to entertain a lot of white folks on Fox News. And that's not to say, like you said, also original, like because we know MSNBC has black ones that are entertain the white liberals as well too. So they pretty much was there just for entertainment purpose. I don't see anything educational they really did or beneficial. Definitely for Black Americans. So I hate to see somebody. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I ain't mean to cut you on Newstoter. I was just gonna say, man. Basically, Diamond and Silk. All they did was replace. What's her name when she was on there? Remember, Stacey Dash was on there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and she was another one that they used at Fox News to try to to belittle us. And you see what they did to her. They got rid of her the following year. They had her on there for like a year. And, she was on there rambling and putting us down and saying all kinds of stuff about Black America. But then Fox News moved her out the way. Then here comes this Diamond and Silk. And, of course, then they end up letting them go. See, this is what they do. They use Black Americans to make a fool out of us, but then they end up making a fool out of them. You know what I'm saying? When is Black American coons going to learn that you can't be out here doing this coon shit? Because they're gonna end up getting you out of there.
See, Professor, they think it's a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. They're not gonna ever learn. You see, Candace Owens, she uses that platform as well too, and Candace Owens says all kind of negative things and stuff like that. And people like to hear that. People really like to hear another Black person tear down another Black person, especially when you're talking about something politically and social economically. They love to hear it because at that time, if you have this, they consider this reasonable Black person to get up here and start tearing down other Black people. Then it just goes with the whole with the whole agenda that, hey, what's wrong with Black people? We got somebody here that's Black and they doing okay for themselves or trying to do okay for themselves, but then you got another Black person sitting up here tearing them down and this and that. So it's always something like, hey, it's got to be something wrong with Black people, that they're not either trying hard enough or it's just something in their DNA that's just not right. So that's why they love to have people like that on there, because they know that they're gonna trigger the stuff and say the stuff that they really want to hear. So that's really what they love to hear. And those two sisters, made their day having them on there. I see No Taxation trying to come up as well too. Hopefully we get the sister to come in here. What's up, Miss D? I see you came up here as well too. No Taxation, Miss D. One of you guys want to speak?
It don't matter who goes. Just don't let me think.
I just wanted to say Stacey Dash is not Black American, so I wasn't never shocked about her.
Okay.
Diamond and Silk, on the other hand, I don't know what they are, but I definitely know Stacey Dash is not Black American.
All right. Isn't Stacey Dash related to Dame Dash?
Yep, and they're not American.
Okay. Appreciate that, sister.
They're not Black American, I mean.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that because I thought Dame Dash and Stacey were Black Americans, but hey, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
not. She definitely not.
Yeah, they first cousins. Yeah, so I would think.
Yes, they're first cousins.
Stacey Dash is Mexican.
She's Mexican.
Yep. I forgot where they say what country they say she's from. Yeah.
Okay, because the last name Dash isn't a Mexican name. So one of her parents, were they in the military and had her over there or something like that?
No, I think her mom is something else.
Oh, okay.
When her father is American, then y'all, she's still gonna be one of us. You do know that, right? Yeah, that's gonna still put her into our group. And the fact that Dame Dash is American, that will bring her in as an American.
Well, I'm saying I didn't think that. Okay, because I've heard that she's not all the way. I know somebody. I know it was said that she from some parts of Mexico. I forgot which part they said she's from.
Yeah, it's true that they can be, like they can have another lineage, but if they got another parent that is a lineage here, that still can bring them in as being a Black American. Only half, but they still can come in. So
Mexican and Barbados. That's what it was. Mexican Barbados. My father is a Black American, from what I know.
Okay.
No. See, here's the issue, though. She said herself that she wasn't Black. And you remember when she was locked up at some point, she was shacked up with this white guy, and they treated her like trash. And when it was some form, I think it was the form what they filled out in jail or whatever, it was stated on the form that she was white. But she didn't have an issue playing these roles as a Black woman. And that's what has me pissed off with these people, because see, they are Black to get that bag, but then once they get that bag, it's like they've never had any loyalty to us. It's always been about whatever the non-Black aspect of them was. That's what they've always geared themselves towards. And so, so people are now saying, you know what, we're done with y'all. You've used us for the last time, and whatever happens to you, because that's why I was sending stuff out. What's that guy named Isaiah Washington? He did this movie Corsa something. I think it was about Bass Reeves, and he gave this old troglodyte a part in the movie. And I told him, I said, I would not watch this on bootleg if it was given to me for free. You see, the white people have used her up. Now she wanna, and I think someone even said something. What she had said that she wanted to come back to the Black community. No, you keep yourself over there with the white folks, and you said you was white. Now all of a sudden she see they used her up, and now she want to come back home. There is no as DJ always say, no, you can't come to the cookout. I like it, but that.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to no taxation. Sister, how you doing tonight?
Hold up, here I come. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah. We still praying.
I definitely appreciate that. Thank you, sister.
We still like candles. So I want you to know that. Yeah, hey, DJ, we got to talk later on. Professor, Original, everybody. Now, everybody in the room. I'm going to give y'all a little history. Original told you right about John Lewis. Towards the end, it was very self-aggrandizing. And you could see that with all the white women and AOC and everybody trying to take pictures with him. He was too old. At that point, he was too old. So you get to a point in your thinking, I don't care how consuming your field of work and your career is. You get to a point where you start slipping. And that's just in life. And that's where he was, and that's why it looked towards the end. I would say probably the last 8 years. Having said that, I'm going to tell you, Diamond still ain't making no money, just like none of the rest of them are making any money. And I'm going to tell you why. There was a woman that was hired by the GOP before the Trump administration, during the Obama administration, to do a Black outreach. Her name is Crystal Quarker, and she has since got married, moved to North Carolina. But anyway, I say that to say they didn't fund her office. So they hired her, paid her a decent salary to do Black outreach, but then they didn't give her anything to do with that. See? So they could say that they was doing it, but her hands was tied because she had no money. She wasn't going to use her money. They were supposed to provide that. They didn't. And so it was she that contacted me during the last 4 years of Obama and asked me if I would come and be a pundit for the Republican Party. And I think that's just because my name is on the list. I don't think it's because anybody knew me. And so I said, how much does it pay? That was the first thing I said. Because I wanted to see what the game was. And that's what she broke it down to. She said it's a per diem thing. So, okay, the Republican Party did not necessarily ask Diamond and Silk to go out there. But if they're asking for people to be pundits and telling them the only way we're going to give you any money to be a mouthpiece for us is to pay you on the back end and not the front, then I'm quite sure, that it was true based upon what everybody was saying to me, that wasn't nobody giving them no money. I think Trump was throwing them some chump change and putting them on the stage and stuff. But they hustled. Whatever they got, they hustled. And it didn't have anything to do with any paycheck or anything coming from the GOP. Now, Fox News is a different story. And they weren't in a position when they were let go. They weren't in a position to sue Fox News because they had other black people on Fox News, so they couldn't say what it was. But it's sad that she passed. I didn't know what the latest thing. I didn't know anything about it. I don't keep up with them. They don't bother me because they don't directly affect me. But I'm sorry to hear of her passing, and especially if she was in pain. I sure hope she wasn't in pain. But in all the things that we're hearing about that, we got to take all of it with a grain of salt. It was a hustle. It ain't nothing black folks ain't never did before. Anyway, especially if you go over there to the GOPs, they don't see the Democratic Party got the little lightweight jobs they give out. They can pay $30,000, $40,000. GOP don't have that. So if you go over there, you got to hustle. You got to be a hustler, and that's what they did. I don't fault them for that. It is what it is. So, but I just wanted to give y'all that piece of information about the economic part of it because didn't nobody go give them a paycheck to make that the kind of videos and whatever else they did and whatever else they said, however they said it. Nobody gave them any money. I'm sure Trump threw them something, And they get hotel fare and get on the plane and stuff like that. Maybe they'll feed you. But past that, they ain't putting money in their pocket. I can tell you that for a fact. And that holds true to this day. So, and that's even for those pundits that you see on television, because that's what they asked me to be on. They asked me to be on television. So, I just want to throw y'all out there. They ain't giving out that kind of money to nobody. That's all.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. Peace to Charles on YouTube as well, and Mother Earth as well too. So it's funny that when Donald Trump, he went ahead and he announced it on, and I forgot Donald Trump had his own social media site as well too. So he went ahead and he announced it on that as well too. So yeah, Trump definitely he talks about his money and this and that. I wonder will he help contribute for the actual funeral costs as well too. So that'd be a nice gesture from him since he considered them to be friends of his and supporters, and they definitely were loud supporters of his. So you wonder will they go ahead and actually kick in? Will he kick in a little bit of money for the actual funeral costs for the family and stuff like that? Because yeah, I just that's sad to the fact that when you have somebody on TV like that and you think that they're making a decent living doing what they're doing, politics aside, now the family, now you have to go ahead and try to raise money to bury that person. So that's definitely that's definitely not a good predicament to be in. I'm going to go ahead real quick and I'm going to touch up on this this article about Dana White, UFC president, and the actual incident he had with his wife as well too. This was curated by Black Sports Online. It's also in the Jumbotron as well too. It says ESPN tells the reporters not to badmouth Dana White over White slapping his wife. As most of you know by now, UFC boss Dana White was caught on camera hitting his wife on New Year's Eve. The two were in some argument and she slapped him and he reacted by hitting her back. He apologized for the matter and there have been a lot of reactions to it, but none have gotten the attention that Stephen A. Smith's response has gotten. Stephen A., who typically takes a much harsher approach to things like this, decided to take it very easy on White, calling him a friend he said he loved. He did say that no man should put his hands on a woman under no circumstances, but he still took it very easy. He's gotten a lot of criticism for his reaction to the matter, considering he's been harsh on lots of other athletes. And to make matters worse, ESPN MMA writer and analyst Jeff Wagerhism says that the reason Stephen A. took it so easy on White was that they were told not to say anything incendiary on social media on the matter. but wants people to understand that others at ESPN don't have that sort of take on domestic violence as Stephen A. He later said that it wasn't this specific thing ESPN told him not to say anything incendiary about it, just in general. Another added layer to this for White is that TBS has delayed the start of Dana White's slap league a week. The show was in jeopardy after news broke that White hit his wife, but it seems that TBS has deemed the situation salvageable only to delay it. Only time will tell if there's more fallout from this. It isn't unusual for media networks to silence employees when they're in bed with the league. ESPN and UFC are tied together, so I can see why they wouldn't want their employees bad mouthing White. The problem, of course, is this was John Jones, who was an MMA fighter. For those that don't know, you already know what would have happened. So, yeah, this is John Jones, and he got caught hitting his wife, whether she hit him first or not. If he got caught hitting his wife on camera or whatever, people saw it, and it was circulating like that, John Jones would be suspended, and the endorsements that he had would be gone, and he would definitely be talked about at this point. But Dana White is a president of the UFC, so we must not forget that. And like they say, UFC has an actual contract along with ESPN as well, too. So ESPN is given a nod not to go ahead and make matters worse on this situation. Not only that, Dana White has his slap league. I don't know if any of you guys ever seen the actual this thing they be showing on YouTube. DJ told me about it maybe about a month ago. I couldn't believe it. Like, yeah, people just slapping the hell out of each other. I'm like, what in the hell is this here? Like, people just sitting up there and almost knocking people out with slaps. So out of all the things that they can put on TV, now we got a slap league where people just slapping people silly and whatnot. So TBS hasn't even canceled that yet. So, and it's crazy. Here's the thing. Now you saw, and I know he just came out with a movie not too long ago, but you saw the attention that Will Smith got for slapping another man in Chris Rock. You see everything that how everybody was talking about canceling Will Smith and this and that, and Will Smith was talked about for months. Of course, Will Smith is a bigger star than Dana White, so we understand that. But at the same time, he did hit another man. Dana White hit his wife on actual got recorded hitting his wife, and it's kind of been swept under the rug so much. So you would not catch this with anybody else where you got a major person of his notoriety and people just trying to sweep it under the rug like, hey. So I find that crazy. Luckily, this guy from ESPN, the reporter, he did say that. And basically, talk about incendiary. Basically, they telling people to shut up, not to talk about it. That's what they're saying. They're saying, hey, let's go ahead and just, discuss this or whatever. They had to talk about it for the simple fact that social media and everybody else saw it or whatever. So you have no choice but to actually speak on it because it was actually out there. And I know, like I say, his wife did strike him first, but did you see that video? Did he slap her a couple times? Or like after she slapped him, did he like slap her a couple times? Because I swore like it seemed like she slapped him and then like he kind of like, slapped the hell out of her a couple times afterwards.
That's because he was embarrassed, bro, in front of his people. That's all it was. So yeah, he tapped her a couple times after that first, even though she threw her first smack.
Okay, I knew I wasn't seeing anything because I saw him like haul off. He slapped her one time and then he came back and he popped her again. Like, hey, like don't ever do nothing like that. Like I was like, wow, like he made sure that she understood that you don't ever slap me like that in person again. So Christina, I see you up in the space. I'm gonna go ahead and kick the mic to you. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Tyler, drop me down real quick, bro. It's Twitter acting up.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Yes, yeah, I like that you brought up like the Will Smith slap. I guess that was heard around the world. The slap that was heard around the world. Because yeah, I think that you have to address it to people like either the behavior is unacceptable or it is acceptable. Because they draw so many like gray areas to where they define what is acceptable and who's allowed to do what behaviors and who gets passes and who doesn't. So, but I wanted to say, because you were talking about slap boxing, and with slap boxing, yeah, like men fight all the time, and you can like look it up where one man is like, socking another man or punching another man in the face. That doesn't mean that we get rid of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So just because, because the first slap could have been a reaction. You know what I'm saying? If you slap somebody, you got to be ready to get slapped back. But to do a second slap was to put her in her place because, like the other guy said, like he was embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? The first slap, I think it looked more like a reaction. Like he was drunk. Like, I got slapped and I'm going to slap you right back. But he slapped her again because I think it processed and he was embarrassed and he checked her. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not for any of that type. I think that she should have slapped him for sure. And I don't think that he should have slapped her back because it was obvious that she was drunk and out of control. So that's not the proper way to respond. You know what I'm saying? And the consequences for both of them should be handled accordingly. And in comparison to how our people are treated in the community, we really just have to put a spotlight to people who oppose equality in the type of punishments that these celebrities receive. I think it just needs to be called and brought to them, either it's acceptable or not acceptable. You know what I mean? And I land my plane. Thank you.
Yeah. And luckily for her, that was in public, because had she slapped him like that and they were home, oh boy, like that wouldn't have went well. I could tell you like that. He flipped out after he got that first slap. Like I said, he went to go ahead and check on that second slap. So luckily for her, they were in public in front of other people and stuff like that, because that wouldn't have went well at all.
Hey, just real quick to add on what Christina said. So if you go back and look at the video, what did he say to her to make her smack him? Because they were speaking, or maybe having words, arguing, a couple issues or whatever, marital issues or whatever in the relationship. So what was being said prior to the first blow? See what I'm saying?
That much I don't know, because I didn't hear the audio or whatever. I just, you saw them arguing, and she hauled off and she slapped him, and then he slapped her, and then like I say, I'm like, damn, did he slap her again? Like he walked up and he popped her again or whatever. So yeah, that was.
Oh, go ahead. That puts.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, what would make you want to slap somebody, man or woman? What would make you want to slap your mate if you're drunk at a club, fucking on 100? You know what I'm saying? Like, my first thing is probably he was being inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? And, like, with other women. You know what I'm saying? A man would do it to a woman, too. Like, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Talking all that shit. And if you talk back, like, oh, I'm doing me, and we're in a public place, and you're acting like a fucking pig, slobbering all over these bitches, I'm gonna slap you. You know what I'm saying? And if you were a man and I was whoring myself to the club and I'm supposed to be your woman and you're like, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. You might slap
Hey, Christine. Hey, Christina, chill.
I'm serious. And I would not say that I did not deserve it, because it's like, what the fuck, bitch?
I feel you. Hey, I feel you, but just kind of chill a little bit on the cursing, because
maybe you deserve that slap. And then he was like, oh, this bitch slapped me. And he, out of his man.
Just chill a little bit on the cursing, Christine. Like, I don't mind you being animated, but you getting it in there. So just for the sake of everybody that might be listening, because people do slip up and curse in the spaces and stuff, but you getting it in there. So go ahead in 30 seconds, land it, because I'm gonna go ahead and get, because we got some other hands up as well too.
I'm landing it. Like, I'm a visionary, so I was really imagining like what circumstances, what I'm saying, would really make me have to go and say something to my man in the middle of that. And that's where I'm landing my plane. Is that's the only thing I could think of is like public humiliation, and it goes vice versa. And I would understand. I'm not saying right is right and wrong is wrong, but in those circumstances, being intoxicated, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people do whatever they gotta do to stop you from doing what you're doing to them. So sometimes you do have to slap somebody. I don't know. That's not my style. But I think that's low-key maybe what could possibly have happened. I land my plane.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate you. I definitely could tell. I know you passionate. You definitely animated as well too. So thank you, sister, as always. Good to hear from you. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it to Sister a Butterfly. Sister a Butterfly, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Newstoter, DJ, host. Shout out to the whole group. This is Trouble.
I'm about to say, Trouble, that's you.
Yeah, Twitter locked my other account, so you know how we do.
Oh my God, trouble! You causing trouble.
I'm gonna go ahead and we'll go ahead and follow you too, because I'm like Sister Butterfly. I saw you earlier today. Follow. I'm like, who is Sister Butterfly? Okay, well.
Yeah, that's the sister that passed away named Butterfly, so I always say Sister Butterfly. But yeah, Twitter did some old foolishness, locked my account. I know that particular account as well. Several others got caught up in a data breach, so I'm not sure if that was why. But in the middle of me typing some stuff out, they was like, "Oops, it's suspicious activity." So there's that. But yeah, as far as the Dana White, I somewhat agree with Christina. Lord help me, but it's not too much I can care about this situation other than the fact that it doesn't work the same way when our brothers are twisted up in the news. When they have situations with their spouses, they're rung through the mud. So I feel like equal treatment should be had, but they rolled out the red carpet on being silent about Dana White's activity. It's funny how white woman tears always seems to trigger everybody in every other instance, but her tears have no effect when it's a Dana White up on a thing. And Stephen A. Smith, I expected Stephen A. Smith to go mom and love on him massa, because that's what Stephen A. Smith always does. He's always silent to certain white folks' fuckery. Oops, sorry. But he is. He's always silent, and he always have smoke for every other black person that does something in the news that seems to draw the attention, of the world. Because as we was discussing in previous spaces, it's their total intention to make black people the face of foolishness. They want the black man to look like the aggressor in all situations. And if it's a white man or if it's a white woman that has done the same thing as their black counterpart has done, well, it wasn't that bad. Well, there's an explanation. But when it comes to us, we need to see the full video. We need to understand there is no excuse. So as far as what Dana White did, there is no excuse for you to slap your honey back in her face like that. It was nothing that she could have done to make you put your hands on her, Dana. Keep your hands to yourself, Dana. What did he do? He didn't slap. Yeah, you could say the first slap was a reaction slap, but after he reacted, he thought about that. He was like, hold up, heifer. He twisted that neck back and he gave her a couple of more chops. Chop, chop, chop. That was some old foolishness. I was sitting back with popcorn just a little bit. As a woman, it made me feel like, well, damn. But as a black woman, it made me feel like chop her ass one more time. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, he got pissed. Like I said, luckily for her that they were out in public, because had they been home when she did that, oh Lord, it would have got really, really ugly up in there. So she caught a break that they was actually in public, because he slapped her that second time. He probably had to think like, hold on, I don't really want to go in right here. So he thought about that for a second, that second slap. So give him he got his head straight after that, and she know too, like, hey, I bet not ever do this at the house when we just solo like that. But Dana White gave us an example. This is what power looks like. You can be black and you can have money, you can have wealth and all this and that right here. But this is what real power looks like. Okay. A black person in the same predicament as Dana White can have the same money and everything else, but he doesn't have that power like that. These ESPN say, hey, we tied the UFC. We don't really want to make no stink here. We don't want to cut UFC off, because UFC right now, UFC might be bigger than boxing. So like, hey, we don't want to miss that money. So let's go ahead and keep getting that money. TBS also, he got his slap league coming out. TBS like, well, we'll kind of wait and sit back and this and that. If that had been a black athlete, he would already have lost his endorsements and everything else.
But did you see that today they had an article came out that said 17
senators called for his immediate resignation for him to go ahead and get on through. But I don't know if those 17 senators, have any power, amongst the other senators, or if that's going to actually mean anything. But I don't know. Maybe that might just be for optics.
At the end of the day, though, money still talks. So we'll see. Like I say, UFC has kind of surpassed boxing in popularity. So we'll see exactly. Now, Dana doesn't own UFC, but he is the president, to my knowledge. So we'll see exactly how this thing plays out. And it'd be interesting to see out of those 17 senators, how many of them also are Republicans as well, too. Is it just all Democrats? Is it a mix between Democrats and Republicans, independents? So that's also something to keep an eye on as well, too. I'm going to kick it to Professor. Before I kick it to Professor, let me go ahead and say in the Jumbotron, we have the Newstoter YouTube channel as well as a newsletter. Please subscribe to those if you guys can. If you have not, please go ahead, click on the actual in the Jumbotron. I believe it's the third or fourth to the right. Go ahead and click on that and go right to the YouTube channel if you don't mind. And please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us grow. Also, if you can, please support us on Cash App. It is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned and the largest Black American-owned news curation platform today in America. So please, if you can, please donate or think about contributing to the platform. If you don't have an actual Cash App, we have in the Jumbotron, we also have a PayPal link and a Venmo in there as well, too. So please, if you can support us, it would be greatly appreciated. Let me go ahead and kick it to Professor. Professor, before I kick it to you, I want to cover this. I'm going to cover this Desantis article real quick. Everybody keep your hands up because y'all can go right back to this topic or whichever topic you want. I just want to go ahead and get this out the way. This is from The Hill. It's also in the Jumbotron, curator on the Newstoter.com platform. It says, DeSantis activates National Guard in response to hundreds of migrants arriving in the Florida Keys. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has activated the state National Guard to provide support to local officials in response to the arrival of hundreds of migrants in the Florida Keys. He signed an executive order on Friday to mobilize the Guard and direct the Florida law enforcement agencies and other agencies to supply resources to local governments as they respond to the migrants landing. As the negative impacts of President Biden's lawless immigration policies continue unabated, the burden of Biden's administration's failure falls on local law enforcement who lack the resources to deal with the crisis, DeSantis said in a release. This is why I'm activating the National Guard and directing state resources to help alleviate the strain on local resources. When Biden continues to ignore his legal responsibilities, we will step in to support our communities, he continued. The move comes nearly a week after local officials reported that at least 500 migrants arrived in the Florida Keys over New Year's weekend. Roughly 300 of that number landed on the island National Park, prompting its temporary closure. DeSantis' office said in the release announcing the executive order that law enforcement has encountered more than 8,000 migrants off the Florida coast since August. The release states that it has been particularly burdensome for the sheriff's office in Monroe County, which is located in the Florida Keys, to provide the necessary resources to manage hundreds of newly arrived migrants and ensure public safety. The state will deploy airplanes and helicopters from the Florida National Guard and reinforce Marine patrols from the Florida Fish Wildlife Conservation Commission to support efforts to intercept the migrants and ensure their safety. The release states that Florida has a long history of helping refugees, particularly Cubans and other fleeing communist regimes, find assistance in the United States, but that has always included some support from the federal government. DeSantis has made national headlines and garnered criticism from Democrats for his handling of migrants coming into Florida, as he has sent a number of them on airplanes and buses to northern Democratic-run sanctuary cities that limit their cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and former Arizona Governor Doug Ducey have taken similar steps. The governors have said that they are sending the migrants to places with more resources to support them, but opponents have called their actions political stunts, saying they have not given the cities any advance notice of the migrants' arrival. Biden announced new steps on Wednesday to address the situation at the U.S. southern border as a growing number of Venezuelan migrants make their way to the country through Mexico. He said migrants should not just show up at the border and should instead apply for entry from where they are. Biden also said the U.S. will expand its parole program for those from Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Haiti. Data from U.S. Customs and Border Patrol showed that 2.76 million migrants were encountered by authorities while crossing the border illegally last fiscal year, which is a record. All right, y'all. I just wanted to go ahead and get that out so we can go ahead and still get to the topic. So if you guys want to cover that as well, please go ahead. Any of the topics tonight that you guys want to cover, please feel free to go back and forth. I don't care. Professor, you're next. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you again, Newstoter. Dana. Man, I tell you, I looked at that video over and over, and I said, wow, if that had been a black dude, we all know it would be non-stop coverage. They really tried to just cover this up. They just didn't want to talk about it. I mean, at all. But it looks like to me, y'all, and I'm just asking a question for the family here. It seemed like to me she was actually trying to walk away from Dana, and Dana tugged on her or something. And then that's when she slapped him. Now, she did hit him first or slapped him first. But I think it came down to he was tugging on her or pulling her back, and she was trying to walk off. Tell me if I'm wrong on that, but that's what I saw in the video.
I'm not sure, but I know he slapped the hell out of her. Let me be honest.
Yeah, he did. But y'all, I'm telling you, man, not only did he slap her that one time, he looked like he went down on the floor with her or something. I was like, man, is that man punching that woman to the floor? I was like, look, Dana was using UFC tactics on her. See, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. To me, something do need to happen here. Now, he hit a woman on video. Now, I want to take y'all back. And you know what I'm going to take you back to? When the whole thing with Ray Rice went down. Now, I know you all remember that storyline.
Professor, the only thing they're gonna say with the Ray Rice situation is Ray Rice knocked her slap out. No, that's gonna be the difference. That's what people are gonna say. He knocked her out and he picked her up and left the elevator. So that's what people are gonna point to that prediction.
Yeah, but you know, Newstoter, I can maybe look at it from that perspective too. But remember, in this so-called American society, under so-called Me Too and Time's Up and all this crap that they put out here, they say that men shouldn't be doing any of it, right? So, with that being said, he did this. He still knocked the woman to the floor. I think he knocked his wife to the floor, y'all. It looked like I saw him go down to the floor with this woman. I don't know about y'all, but I think that's what I saw. And so Ray Rice, we saw, you know, in the elevator, he hit her, knocked her out. I think you just got to make an example out of Dana because he is a big time owner, no, he's not the owner, excuse me, but he's still an executive. He's in an executive position of a big time company, and you got to hold people accountable, especially when you see them on video doing something like this. Okay, remember we are in the times of the what do they like to call it? The Me Too and the so-called Times Up movements. So therefore, and speaking of, where's Me Too and Times Up for this?
Me Too said they only worry about black men. They don't worry about. They was asked that before. They don't worry about any issues with white men and stuff that white men do. Now, I don't know how they feel about if a white man does it to a black woman, but they said that they pretty much their concentration and focus is just solely on black men.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Hey, Professor, real quick. Hey, Tyler, they don't care about a white man hitting a black woman either, because what was that football player name from the Seahawks that beat his black girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't say anything.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And the reason I bring these groups up, y'all, both of these groups, because I think Time's Up is more the white women side of it, and Me Too is going to be the black women side of it. But both are hypocrisy. Both of them. It's just hypocrisy between the two. The white women in Time's Up, they don't do anything really to protect women. They might take certain cases like Bill Cosby. See, they jumped all over that one. But then again, I think it was Time's Up and Me Too that jumped all over that one. And the thing about the Bill Cosby case, I think it was maybe only one sister that was even complaining or made some kind of criminal complaint against Bill Cosby. I think the rest of them were, they was the caucasoids. But I mean, that's what I'm saying, y'all. These groups, these Me Too's and Times Up, it's just hypocrisy all over the place. Dana White, man, he needs to be arrested, y'all. That's what I'm getting at here. He needs to be arrested, and I don't know if the police isn't looking at it, the video or looking into it, but he definitely needs to be arrested and put in jail behind. I land my plane there.
That'll be interesting to see, Professor, because like I say, and then like I said, I don't know how you with the second slap. I don't know if that would that be cause for arrest or whatever, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to play out. I'm not, because like I say, she did technically, you know, you do have a right to defend yourself. She popped him, but then he popped her back. So, but I don't know with the second slap if that would cancel out everything, because he did come back and, you know, he did slap her again. So, you know, I'm not exactly sure how that would play out as well too. So that's going to be interesting to see. And like I say, at the same time, Dana White is a powerful man. You know, he may not own UFC, but he's one of the power brokers of UFC. And you know, UFC has these big time contracts with ESPN and Spike. I guess they don't have Spike channel no more, do they? The Spike. I think that's.
I don't know if they have the Spike channel anymore. I know they did for the longest.
Yeah, they did. But but he's got, like I say, he's got this thing coming up, the Slap League with TBS and stuff as well too. So it just all depends on the pressure that's put. Because like Trouble said that if you have senators and stuff getting into it, then you know that's something that you have to kind of keep an eye on, because if you start getting these politicians involved, and more pressure is gonna. But I don't think UFC is gonna make him, whether they charge him or something like that, which I highly doubt. But I don't think UFC is going to let Dana White go. He's been too valuable to the corporation, and I just don't see them saying, hey, okay, you know what, Dana White, he'll have to go to counseling or therapy or anything like that. Best believe his wife will get out there on TV as well too and say, well, you know. So I mean, I just don't see that happening. You know,
and look, Ray Rice's wife got out there on TV too and do a damn good. That brother never did get back in the league. Because I think she got on TV, if I remember correctly, when they did an interview.
But remember too, Professor, Ray Rice was what he come. Let's be for real. Let's be honest. Ray Rice was a football player, a big running back. And then, you know, people are going to look at, even though, like you say, the wife popped him and stuff like that. People are going to say, well, he knocked her out cold. I'm just being honest. He knocked her out cold. And then they're going to sit up here and talk about how he just picked her up, and did he drag her or pick her up or whatever? But I can't remember. It's been so long ago.
I think he picked her up. He picked her up and carried her out of the elevator. But but the wife in that situation slapped him first. So I mean, it's the same, y'all. It's the same argument. I'm sorry. She slapped him first in the elevator. We all saw that. And he laid her out. I mean, I'm sorry. Look, ladies.
He laid her out. I mean, he laid her out. If he would have hit a man like that, he hit one of us like that, we'd still be asleep. Like, he laid her out. That I ain't joking about it. I'm not trying to joke about it, but he, as we used to say back in Florida back in the day, he jawed her. I mean, it was.
Hey, real quick, y'all forget though, in the Ray Rice situation, yeah, he smacked her, but she hit her head on the holding rail of the elevator. That's why she got knocked out. It wasn't from the slap. It was from her hitting her head against the railing of the elevator. Yo, look at the thing.
Yeah, DJ, and they gonna still say that don't make it no better either. Like, just being real, like.
Yeah, of course. But you know, and let me say this, ladies, we're talking about this. We're not laughing at what he did. Now, what he did was wrong. Ray Rice should have never did that to his wife. And then I'm gonna say the same thing about Dana. He should have not did it to his wife. Men should not put their hands on the women. Now, if a woman bringing a knife to the fight, she trying to do something to you with a knife, or she got something in her hand to do something to you, then hey, I'm about to lay you out too. You know what I'm saying?
But Professor, and I'm gonna kick I am mode. I know you had your hand up, but Professor, I'm gonna say this real quick. I think we all knew when Ray Rice, when we saw that video of that, we said, yeah, I said Ray Rice ain't never playing football again. Like, when I saw that video, I was like, yeah, he's done. It's no matter, I don't care what his wife said, I don't care what kind of community service he did in the community, whatever. when you saw that video and you saw the way, and then he picked her up like she was, and then that's all you heard too, was like her lifeless body and stuff like that. I like, yeah, he might as well go ahead and find him another profession. I like, because he's done. He's not gonna ever. The NFL is not gonna ever let him come back, because they can't let him come back, because you would have had all those women groups out there protesting if he would have came back. They just would have, like, it just wasn't gonna happen. I knew when I saw that video, I was like, oh boy. I said, yeah, Ray Rice is done playing football here, man. He's not gonna be able to recover from this.
You're right, man. He was never gonna recover. But the NFL, man, they've been, how can I put it? They just a bed of hypocrisy.
Wait, okay. I know you guys know, because a man who told me that, I don't mean to cut in, them saying, but the NFL and all the other sports is sports entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes it so different from like fucking real life. You know what I'm saying? And if we think that we're not going to be discriminated and our men and women are not going to be treated unequal in the entertainment industry, basically we could be talking about an actor or a musician, which we do. You know what I'm saying? Because damn. But so I'm saying that, like, we're talking about the NFL. We're just recently, what was that white guy's name? Because I be watching ESPN. That white guy's name where he tweeted out about that man who almost died on the field. You know what I'm saying? And his response that was so connected to slavery and just proved that the behavior of using black men for entertainment has not changed, because they do not care about black bodies when it comes to entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, in other ways too, including sexual entertainment, they do not care about black bodies. So I think that perspective is very important to know, in that Stephen A. is an entertainer. He's on ESPN News, but the news he's giving is entertainment news, just like those other, like TMZ. You know what I'm saying? But he's specifically talking about sports, and he has a paycheck to make. So, of course, he's not going to, like, ruffle any feathers. You know what I'm saying? Because he has his own, you know, what do they say? Like, work politics. There's all politics behind those cameras that he has to deal with, and people talking about him. And he wants to get his paycheck, and he probably wants to get promoted somewhere. So, like,
okay, Christina, real quick.
I'm not excusing his behavior, but I'm just saying, like, we have to
real quick, not to mute you, Christina, because I'm gonna get back to you too, because we had some hands up as well. So let me go ahead and get back to you, because we had Iron Malt. He's been waiting for a while. Then we got Original. Then we got you, Christina. Then we got my girl's sister. I still gotta just say Trouble. I'm sorry, Trouble. Like, the new name, I gotta get used to it, but I'm gonna just say Trouble. But we'll go ahead and we'll get back to you, Christina. Iron Malt, I know you've been waiting, so go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, sir. Ain't Mari Manuel over Dana White as far as the media consultant, or the maintenance for the UFC? That's Ari Emanuel, the same one that said silence is violence when it came to Kyrie Irving.
I'm not sure, but you may be right. But I know Dana White's not the actual owner of USA. I think he does have a boss.
Yeah, Mari Emanuel is over him. Yep, the same one that said Kyrie Irving about silence is violence, and I haven't heard from that Amari or whatever his name is, Ari Manuel, for a little bit since this incident happened. And as far as that, just like Dana White, just like Chad Wheeler, just like DJ Kidd over there in Florence, South Carolina, one thing these white folks got as far as privilege is consideration and benefit of the doubt. That's what they got. So, and as far as that, like I said, I posted about on here, no Me Too, Time's Up, Women Feminist Group, Democrat, Republican, LGBT, divested Zaddy worshipers, saying anything about what Dana White did to his woman. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. And I know Bishop Talbot. He posted something one day. He had the pictures of Brett Favre up there about taking money from poor people in Mississippi. He had Dana White's picture up there. And he had Kyrie Irving, and he said, "Now look, which one of you people, these people, you think have suffered the most out of these three people?" And of course, we know who suffered the most. Like Kyrie had to be almost, humiliated, publicly humiliated, forced to come out and apologize for retweeting something, while these other ones, Brett Favre and Brett Favre is still, nobody's really gonna do anything to Brett Favre either. They're gonna find a way to go ahead and loop that up as well too. So Brett Favre is up here taking money from the poorest people in the poorest state. Then you got, like I said, you got Dana White, and then you got Kyrie Irving, who, even Shaq got on Kyrie Irving, and yet Shaq is playing the actual movie that he's criticizing Kyrie Irving at his theater in New Jersey. So that just goes to show the actual nonsense that was actually going on with that as well too. Original, I'm gonna get to you, but I got a new speaker up here, Carlos. Let me get to Carlos real quick. Let me give a shout out to Dana. I see the real Dana also up in the space as well too. You guys get a chance, go ahead and subscribe to the real Dana on YouTube. Thank you, Dana, for inviting me to your platform on Sunday. I wish I could have been there a little bit longer. I had a space coming up at 8:00, but thank you for inviting me. Definitely go ahead and catch the real Dana. She's always doing a YouTube with Judge Joe Brown, and also other hosts as well too. So please, when you guys get a chance, go ahead and support the sister. Let me go ahead and kick it to you real quick, Carlos.
Hey, what's up, Peace family? I just wanted to say something that people have forgotten about when you mentioned Ray Rice. During the same time frame that Ray Rice went through his incident, it was a kicker for the New York Giants that I believe his name was Chris Brown. He beat his wife so bad at the Pro Bowl, the NFL had to move her to another hotel. And that flew completely under the radar. Of course, he didn't look like us, but that flew completely under the radar until a reporter from Seattle wrote about that, because the Giants actually gave him like a multi-year, almost $100 million deal for a kicker. And R. Emanuel, his company does own the UFC, and I'm gonna land there.
Yeah, his name was Josh Brown, and I'm a Giants. Go Giants, though. Playoffs, baby.
So so Josh had did the same. He had got in trouble for fighting his girl or something.
Oh yeah, he hurt his wife real bad, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. He beat her so bad that the NFL had to move her and the kid to another hotel and wouldn't tell him where they were.
Damn.
And I'm a Lakers fan, so he's going down on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see you at 4:30, fam. No, don't even worry about
it. Did the NFL suspend him and kick him out the same way they did Ray Rice?
The Giants got rid of him immediately, but I don't know what the NFL did post after that, though.
Oh man, you have so many stories with the NFL and stuff, man. I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't even remember. Damn, I never heard with the NFL they had to actually, like, witness protection. They had to actually move the actual woman, and that's crazy. I never heard of that before. That is crazy. Let me original. Let me go ahead and get to B more real quick, and then I'll get to you as well. Go ahead, B more. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, family? He's absolutely right that Josh Brown, they didn't do anything to him. Although he's not playing anymore, it wasn't no jail time. Like DJ said, he ain't really get no reprimanded. I don't know if everybody remember. I'm just coming into space. Maybe somebody said it already. If they did, I apologize. But Ben, your boy Big Ben, he had some domestic Big Ben, and they ain't even touched Ben. You know what I'm saying? He was still playing for the Steelers, still playing, I guess. I don't even know. I ain't watched a game in 15 years.
He retired last year, but he got suspended a couple games. But yeah, he came. I think he got suspended maybe 4 or 5 games that year, because he had a couple charges on him.
Yeah, one was a rape charge. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't never get no time. He ain't never get no much as slap on the wrist.
Check the jumbotron, yo. Top left side.
Oh yeah, and that picture that Ray sent me, Ray tweeted out about Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, how he's hugged all up with the girls. I put that in the jumbotron on the second to the left also as well too. So this is the Dallas Cowboys owner, uh, Jerry Jones, and he's probably with a woman that's young enough to be his granddaughter, and he's getting his squeeze in there, his feel in there.
Wow. Yeah. Damn. I seen that, DJ. Wow. That's crazy. But this has been going on for decades. Since the NFL and NBA has been in existence, man, they've been covering up rape charges. They have been covering up domestic abuse charges, and they exploit our guys. Just like somebody else said about Ray Rice. I mean, Ray Rice went through the same shit, got blackballed, which was messed up, and he's married to his wife right now. Been married to her for damn near 20 years, something like that. They've been married for a while. And she admitted that she started that whole debacle, and they still railroaded him. But, these white beats, these white boys, they get up and they beat up on their women, and it's like, regular day. I mean, we just had a post on Twitter where we seen this guy level his chick. I mean, leveled her. He hit her like she was a dude. And everybody around him, which, was all white people, they just looked at her and just kept eating. Like it was normal. This is normal in white society. White society, white men love beating on their women. But then look at us and say we the ones that do that shit. We started that shit, man. White men been wanting to take the place of their women for centuries. They want to have babies. They don't even want their women to have their babies no more. So, we dealing with a real psychotic, a psychotic group of males.
Real talk. Appreciate that, B more as always. Original. And before I get to your original, I want to say this one thing, and this is and I know you guys, you're talking about the Dana White situation, but did anybody hear what I said about the amount of migrants? 2.76 million migrants were encountered by authorities trying to cross the border illegally. That's a lot of people, man. That is a lot of people. Like, I'm no DeSantis fan or anything by a long shot. I'm here in Florida. I'm no Ron DeSantis fan. I believe that this idiot might be the next president of the United States too. I know it's going to be between him and Trump. So take your poison, take your pick. I'm not a fan of either, but that in this instance here, I have to go ahead and I have to agree with DeSantis. Go ahead. It's sad that you have to call out the National Guard for this here, but you just can't keep constantly letting people come here illegally like that. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out on that. I'm gonna get back to you, original, but I just had to say that right there.
Oh no, that needed to have been said. Well, let me start with the white boy. See, this is why it is very important for us to document all of this. And so the next time something happened with the U.S. descendants of chattel slavery, and then this is when we have to go in extremely hard, because I don't even think this has been in the news in the white news media. We have to start go. I'm sorry, say that again.
It hasn't. I watch the news and I be online every day, especially when it comes to sports. Ain't nobody talking about Dana White slapping his wife.
See,
only us.
Yeah. See, this is why, and we have to be on point when stuff like it. If something happened with the black, let me specify when something happened to a freedman, because see, they've been doing this for far too long, whereby they want to castigate. Basically, no, they want to castrate a black man because he made a mistake or whatever happened. But these white boys, they don't ever want to do anything to them. We're gonna have to document this and start showing them and start calling them and just say this. See, this is why Donald Trump called the news fake. And you are fake right now because you are not reporting on this when it's an American freedman. It's all over the news for at least 2 weeks or more. about how horrible it was that this man did this to a woman. And as we know now, white women and white people don't give a damn about black women unless they can try to squeeze some juice out of the situation. Because a lot of these, Me Too and this, that, and whatever, they don't. When something happened to a black woman, they don't come out and defend her. They say, "Oh, well, she must have done something." So it's like, See, this is why documentation is very important. That we have to create a database or a spreadsheet. Well, create a database and and you have to keep the article in some type of copy because stuff do disappear off the internet. And then we have to document this so people can know. Because I don't want to hear any of these white news stations say anything else about an American freedman if he falls out and he does something or whatever, because they are, I'm just going to call it like Donald Trump did, they are fake news. Because this is that's what I'm going to call it, it's fake news. And let me say this, I don't mean to be rude or anything. Now, I'm not a fan of hers, but I forget what it was, but someone had hit someone, and Whoopi Goldberg said, somebody sent me, it was a short snip on YouTube. She said, well, if you don't want to get hit, don't hit anybody. Because, see, I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of men who are crippled, dead, because a woman went out there and did something to another man, and she go, I'm going to go get my brother, I'm going to go get this person, and they're going to kick your ass. And it was like, and then when they go over there, they get dealt with, and they're killed or whatever. I know this friend of mine, he has a sister. She was with this guy, and so he beat her up. And she said, I'm going to get Quan. So Quan told her, he said, look, if I go over there, you cannot get back with him. That relationship is over if I go over there. You know what she said? I'll call you back. And she never called back. I mean, this is how, stuff like this is how a lot of men have gotten either injured, crippled, or killed. Because a woman did something, and then she knew she was wrong, and then she's going to go call somebody else, and then this brother's getting jacked up for no reason at all. And then she's sitting over there like, and then next thing you know, she's back with him, and he's all beat up and bruised up over here or whatever. And she thought, oh, well, he was slinging it right, so I had to go back. So I just want to say that but we have to start pushing this when these things come up going forward. And we have to start going after these so-called news. They're not news. The news is entertainment. Because if you look at a lot of this stuff like CNN have all these other things on there about, it's basically entertainment, but they only mention this infotainment when it comes to black folk. But we have to start watching this very closely. And now, as far as these illegal aliens, I'm gonna call them illegal aliens. Now, right here, the definition of a migrant: a person who moves from one place to another, especially in order to find work or better living conditions. And then it says an immigrant, a person who comes from a person who comes to live permanently in a foreign country. And then it has, illegal alien, a foreign national who is living without official authorization in a country of which they are not a citizen. But see, the thing of it is, if you notice now, years ago, they would refer to these people as illegal aliens. And now all these people, I would say the fake news, let's start calling the news, call it what it is, fake. The fake news have been pushing this lie that they're running from gangs and this, that, and whatever in their country, and they didn't know. And I'm not buying that garbage. I'm not buying it at all. This right here is nothing but it's part of the war waged against the American freedmen. That's what this is. See, most people don't understand. White people wage war on us, and they have never let up on that war against us. And unfortunately, they have used black elected officials to help them, promote this war against us. Because if you have seen the majority of black candidates' platforms for this last election, they all had something up there of what they want to do. That they supported immigration. They want to change immigration, but not one of them had anything about getting lineage-based reparation for the American people. And this is why I will not support them. If you can't support us, then you don't deserve support from us. And if that means your party lose, so be it. Because at this point, no representation, no vote. I mean, I'm just being real with it. We have to look at this from this standpoint. Going forward, we cannot afford to continue to go out there and give up our vote. Just like I said earlier, how John Lewis, he used to see if you go back and watch, and see they used like the black gay people, John Lewis and others, they was pushing for gay rights and all this, the illegal alien and everything else. But yet, then when you look at how people are treated, just like when them black guys were killed by what's his name, Ed Buck. It wasn't the white gay folks didn't come out there and stand in solidarity with those black people because they didn't give a damn. The same way when Prop 8 passed in California. It was about marriage being between a man and a woman. And so what happened, see, the gay white folks thought that they kept trying to attach their pain and suffering to us. And black folks like, no. And so what happened is when Prop 8 passed, there was black, white, Spanish speaking, and everything else that voted for Prop 8. But they came after black people. See, they had a rally in Westwood, and it was some black people there were some black people and others that came to stand in solidarity with them. But they looked at the black folks and started calling the black folks the N-word. They didn't call the other folks out their name because some of their people voted for it too. But they went after the black folks, and then when people made it a hot item, they started trying to clean it up. Because there was this gay white guy in the office I was in at the time. He was going around the office wanting people to send emails and things to California saying that this is not right. You all should try to rescind. I said, look, your folks are out there calling my folks, and I told him, I said, your folks are out there calling my folks niggers. I said, no damn way I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to defend your group. And you out there calling us niggers? I said, you got to be out your goddamn mind. He said, well, they didn't all say it. I said, you know what? They may not have all said it, but I bet you they was all thinking it. So no. And he asked me several times to send this email. Because this guy, he was kind of quirky anyway. I had pulled up the mother of Dwight Eisenhower. She's black, okay, by the way. And so he walked by my desk when he said, oh, what's that black woman that you got up on your monitor? What did she do? I said, I'll tell you later. And so when I told him, see, this is how white folks are. When I told him who she was, I said, but there is no reference of her mother. Because they said that her mother was jet black. And he said, well, she really don't look black. I said, you a damn lie. See, this is why I don't fool with white folks. Because, see, when he first saw her, she looked like she's black. But that's how white folks roll. But see, he wanted me to send an email to California stating that the passage of Prop 8 was wrong. No, as Dr. Clark said, we don't have any friends. And we have to start acting like that and making sure that we are documenting this stuff so when some stuff go down, we have to call out the news as being fake. Because that's one thing Donald Trump didn't lie about. The news is fake. And I know some of them may be listening to this saying, well, what y'all going to do? You're gonna find out pretty soon because we don't trust you. We cannot trust you. So I just want to land with that. I just want to say that just document as much as you can. Get you an external hard drive or something, and just document this stuff so that when this stuff pop up, we got documentation to throw back up in their face and say, just like how we circled the wagon with Kyrie, we're gonna have to start doing this, and y'all people that are, that sometimes make these mistakes, and we coming out to defend y'all, you might want to break us off a little something because we come out there harder next time. And I'll land with that.
Okay, I'll say this. We have 55 people in the space right now. Today, Newstoter curated over 49 articles off the newstoter.com platform on the Twitter. 49 articles from Black-owned newspaper sources and everything else, everything from entertainment to health to education to politics to business to lifestyle. And I'm having a little, I'm a little bit here. I'm just a little bit, we keep talking about supporting Black-owned businesses and stuff like that. And the businesses that I'm supporting are Black-owned businesses as well. So I'm a little bit, guys, if you guys have it in you and you can, and I'm not talking about the people who always donate, but for some of my people in the space that know daily the content that we're putting out here on Newstoter, if you guys could, please, if you could find it in your heart to donate even $1 on Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, that's in the Jumbotron as well too, it would be greatly appreciated. I don't just say that Newstoter is the largest Black-owned news curation platform for my health or to keep my teeth white. I say it because it's true. And it's been true for over 5 years. So guys, we need your help. We need to go ahead and grow this platform. Please subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Subscribe to the newsletter. We're not trying to just be dependent on CNN and MSNBC and the rest of these ragamuffin white-owned news sites and stuff like that. We always talk about supporting our own. Let me give a shout out to Iron Mo. He just went ahead and donated on Cash App. It's greatly appreciated. But 49 articles a day, and trust me, I could easily curate 60 to 70. It's just the fact that it's no point. If 49 articles don't get you to go to the site, then 60 or 70 is not either. So please go ahead and support Black-owned business, please, because Newstoter is supporting Black-owned business itself by curating news from other Black-owned sites, by driving you to their sites, helping their advertisement revenue, and their newsletter subscriptions as well too. So please think about it, folks. Think about supporting the Black-owned news curation platform, the largest in America, the largest Black-owned news curation platform in America. Thank you again, IMO. Let me go ahead and kick it to Christina. Christina, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you. I was gonna say, I'm gonna go backwards from what he was saying. That American culture is because of the history that it does devalue, Black people, the Black body, and American society, a white nationalist society, has determined a Black man as a threat. Therefore, immigrants who come in, immigrants from anywhere around the world, when they claim to be American, they assimilate to American society and American social norms. And if everybody turns the other cheek when a Black man or a Black child is murdered, then that's what Americans do. And so look at Christmas. There's so many different religions and cultures that they know they're of a different religion and culture, and they still celebrate Christmas because that's just what Americans do. So, us as Americans, we have the right to talk about immigrants and talk about immigration because that's an issue that affects all of us regardless of who we are. You know what I'm saying? But in looking at black and white people have a lot of opinions about immigration because we have that right. And we have an opinion on the immigrants that affect our community, you know what I'm saying? Which is those that look like us and those that are supposed to assimilate with our agenda because they are considered Black Americans, or not Black Americans, but they are considered African Americans, which when we have to mark the box, African American is on the box. So I understand that that becomes a conflict of interest. You know what I'm saying? Because as Americans, we do welcome immigrants from all over the world, as long as you assimilate to our cultures and to our agenda. But as melanated people, you know what I'm saying? If you are coming into a new country and you are not assimilating with the other melanated people, then you are not, you know what I'm saying, necessarily welcomed, you know what I'm saying, by all of the people in that country. And it just is what it is, regardless of where you are. And that's why I always point out to like African immigrants, like, yo, to me as an American, you are, you know, I'm sorry to say, but just an immigrant. You know what I'm saying? And when I discuss immigration, I'm talking about you too. And I really don't care where you come from, because immigration is an issue in itself. But immigration, yeah, I said that. Immigration is everybody from the world. So I think people gotta like, other African immigrants gotta not take it so personal when Black Americans are talking about immigration and how it affects us, because that's our right. And we are the ones that are supposed to be making laws to determine immigration. But I will say immigration and politics hasn't been solved for like decades. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say like Black Americans are responsible. So it's like that's a national problem, and we are Black Americans and we are a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was gonna say that it's yeah, it's messed up that, oh Lord, no. That we're not treated equally on any spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a 13-year-old boy could be like walking across a yard or walking on a sidewalk and be shot multiple times, and a man can say that he's trespassing, but there's no proof that he was trespassing or that he was even aware that he was trespassing, and this man does not get arrested at all, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much privilege when it comes to the value of a body, you know what I'm saying? That like, I'm like deterred from the sports aspect, but it's just like, you know what I mean? To me, it's just kind of like, if we can't get our country to value the Black body in itself, and that it should be treated equally, and no matter what crime is being committed, because all of these crimes are being committed, and the white men are allowed to get away with so much. You know what I'm saying? And for me, and I'm about to like try to figure out how to land my plane real quick, but for me, the reason why I still train to fight is because as an adult, in my adulthood, the only physical confrontations that I've ever had to have is with white men. You know what I'm saying? And they not have respect. Somebody said they don't have respect for white women, and I remember thinking, no, they don't have respect for women at all. But when it comes to Black women, you know what I'm saying? They will scream, they will shove, they will chest bump you, they will throw soda on you, they will spit on you if you're a Black woman in public. They have no respect. You know what I'm saying? And therefore, I train. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to be able to protect myself to what I know is going to be, like I said, as an adult, it's been white men and one white woman that I've had to have physical altercations with. And so I think that that's something we have to be aware of. You know what I'm saying? Is not only are we in a society where these men are protected, the KKK is protected by law. And so I'm going to just say, with Desantis, yeah, because I'm trying to go back and cover a lot of things, is like, with Desantis, he is just playing political theater in the game of politics, and it's actually criminal for him to be using actual bodies. But Biden is on the same policies that Trump installed and initiated, and now the reason why it's in the news is because he just enhanced Trump's policies. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they're all on the same team and they're all with the same agenda. Yes, I'm gonna land my plane. So with us, I feel as a community is that maybe we won't make a whole, I do believe in making a political party actually, but maybe not making a political party so that we can like take over and have, the focus. But with Black Power means political influence. You know what I'm saying? Having the influence to flex our power or vice versa and sway decisions that are made legally, because there's so many ways. And I think that's kind of where we're getting to now is like, which way can we do it? And I believe it's all of these ways. Is that all of these ways need to be implemented so that they can start to understand is that we can flex our power and that we do. It's all over statistically that we do have an
Christina, sweetie.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We all can have a collective influence.
I thought you was landing your plane, sweetie.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. Economically, politically, culturally, we have, but it's not like it's not coordinated, and that's where I land my plane.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, Christina. I was just trying to allow you to land the plane, but it seemed like you kept kind of steering it a little bit longer. So
many topics. You know what I'm saying? So I was like trying to keep 2-3 sentences per topic.
No.
So thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it.
No,
thank you.
No problem. Hey, real quick, mute your mics for a second. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to Julius and Lucretia. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. So I just want to go ahead and try to kick it to the room so we can go ahead and get as many people, because we got quite a few hands up. So that's why I was just trying to get you to land it a little bit quicker, that Christina, but I appreciate it. Okay, you got. I got you, sweetie, because we're hearing that when you unmute your mic and I'm talking, and we having an echo. So thank you. Let me give a shout out to Tamara Sheila Johnson. I see her in the room as well too. How you doing, Tamara? We're gonna go ahead and kick it to Trouble, Sister Butterfly. I got to get used to that name, Trouble. So forgive me if I keep calling you Trouble, but go ahead, sister. Unmute your mic.
No, you can call me Trouble. Hopefully this is just temporary. So Twitter quit playing games with my name. Sister Taxation, I'm going to yield to you because she had her hand up.
Thank you. That was so kind. I like trouble to cause trouble. Now that's just what we have to do, is cause trouble out here. If we ain't causing trouble, we ain't doing our job. And that's just what that is. Newstoter, when you talked about that immigration article, I don't know if that was the Hill article that you were reading, or was it another article? Do you have that?
Yeah, that was the Hill.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you about that is, because you're down there in Florida, and I'm up here close to DC, and you know how they move. What are they saying down there? Because up here the narrative is no more Cubans, and I guess because they ran out the white ones. No Haitians, of course, because they never wanted Haitians, and no Nicaraguans. What's going on down there in Florida?
To my understanding, that they're still talking about, they're trying to extend it also for they're talking about possibly trying to get Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Haiti as well, trying to expand the parole program. The Cuban thing, I don't believe that. They've always allowed Cubans here in Florida, and I don't ever see that changing. Maybe they might not allow the Black Cubans to come in here like that, but Cubans, since the 70s, they started allowing them to come in, or really the 60s. And then, you had a decent amount of them in the 70s, and then you had the explosion in the 80s. So I don't think you'll ever stop having Cubans coming to Florida. That's just, they own Miami, and they own parts of South Florida and stuff like that as well too. So that's never gonna. They may be talking about the Haitians and they talking about the Venezuelans, and the Nicaraguans, but Cubans, no, that's I don't see that. I believe it when I see it.
That's what I was thinking. I thought that was kind of strange. Haitians, it's a given. Nicaraguans, I was a little bit surprised at too, because you're talking about another whole area of the country. They wouldn't be coming down to Florida, would they? Wouldn't they be going into Texas? And I thought maybe DeSantis and Abbott is probably in cahoots to do something that should make sense. But I was wondering about the Cubans because I thought that was kind of odd. And I said, well, maybe they don't have any white Cubans over there, the real not melanated ones over there anymore. And that's why they don't want, maybe they don't want the dark skinned Cubans over there, how they do here. But I was just wondering because I don't, it doesn't make sense to me. Because if you're talking about a lot of these people are coming in from uh, uh, other parts of the country. They ain't said nothing about no Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua. They've said a little bit about Venezuela, but they haven't said anything about those three countries and it being an influx of immigrants. So, like what we talking about here, I don't know if it's a flim flam, to coast it off until 2024, but that's what it looks like to me. In any case, I'm gonna try it. Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would not put any stock in there with Cubans. Cubans, like I said, that's not happening with Cubans now. They're talking about these other, talking about the Nicaraguans and the Venezuelans and stuff like that. But like I said, the Cubans own Miami, and and they're in all parts of South Florida as well too. So that's not happening now. Haiti, they're gonna always find a way to try to limit the Haitians coming over here, and Venezuelans and Nicaragua. They'll get over here before the Haitians, but they're trying to limit them as well too. But definitely the Cubans, that I mean, it's a reason why you have Little Havana and stuff like that. And Little Havana looks a lot different than Little Haiti. So let me go ahead and go to Trouble. You go ahead now, and since you had passed the mic to no taxation, you go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to come back and say I agree. The Cubans assimilate a whole lot more easier than a lot of the other people, the light complexions ones. And so we already know that there's a deficiency inside the white bloodline, and they not having babies. And if they can get these other white beings from these other groups of people to come here and assimilate to their culture, that's good enough for them. They just don't want the ones that's a little bit more melanated to come. If you a little bit darker than that paper bag, this is not for you. But if you white and you can mix with other white people to continue the white race to help their numbers out, then hey, Uncle Sam wants you. So I think in my mind that's pretty much what that was about. The diamond itself, I didn't touch on that. I'm not going to disparage the sister because, I disparaged her a whole lot when she was here. So it's no need to go there, and I don't like to beat up on the dead. I feel bad for the sister to a certain degree because I always have a certain amount of love in my heart for my people, even when they do tap dance around Master like she did. But I want to see what the white folks, what the white ones, who championed her and threw her up in the air, in our faces the way that they did, like they always do, black people that kind of snooze up to them. What are you going to do? Because see, her family is asking for some funds to help bury her. So I've seen a lot of comments from white folks talking about, well, the left couldn't control her and, X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, her people is asking for some money. So what are you all going to do? Because you all wasn't really giving them sisters a whole lot of funds when they are here. Are you going to help her now in her death? And so that's pretty much all I have to say about the diamond and silk thing. Just touched on DeSantis and the migrants. It's a damn shame. How many has been coming over? We already talked about in another space. How they let in damn nearly 1 million of them legally. They allowed them to come in legally, made them citizens. 900,000 plus of them last year. Not to mention they doubled the amount of work visas that they originally had, and they only deported about 37,000 of them in comparison to the amount that they allowed to come in. Now you're saying that there's an additional 2 million that's coming over here illegally. You have to think that, a lot of this is for a particular reason. They're just really just want to muddy the waters, and to a degree, it's sort of like we don't understand how long we've been at war, but they do. And so as long as those birth rates are low, they're going to try to get as many in as possible, and that's whether it's legally or illegally. And both sides of the aisle, the Republicans, the Democrats, these Republicrats, they all play the same game. They just do it a little bit differently. We was talking about the Me Too and Time's Up, and someone drew the distinction between Me Too being the black version and Time's Up being the white version. And I just want to say, as with anything, when it comes to throwing our black people under the bus, they are all white entities. I don't give a damn if there's a black face attached to the Me Too movement. That has nothing to do, it is nothing as powerful as the white power that stands behind it and the reason for its existence. We have, unfortunately, we have black folks on both sides, male and female, who are what we like to call the divestors in our group that love them some white daddy and Maddie, So those are the ones who spark these movements. But trust and believe, it's the white power that stands behind that black face. That black face is nothing. It's the white power behind it. So with the whole Dana White situation, us black people, we talk about a little bit of everything. We know the situation and how the media operates, how they come up against us. But it's the rest of the world that seem to be lagging behind what us black Americans already know. What us Negroes, us Freedmens, us ADOS, the B1s and F1s and Freedmens and whatever you want to call yourself. It's something that we already know. We have this natural thing called common sense that we've been blessed with that the rest of the world just seems to be clueless on. So we see what time it is when it comes to the Dana Whites of the world and how the media interacts with our people in reference to how they downplay what happens with the white people. But the thing about all of these incidents that take place, even though we're the main ones who's really talking about it and bringing it up in the way that we are, it's being seen. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. And so it's still a certain type of light that's being dropped to everyone else who's been sitting back kind of, trying to ignore it. Oh, you black people are always complaining about something. Oh, you're always, what about isms and X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, you can't ignore what's clearly in your face. You clearly see that ESPN has gotten extremely bold in the fact that one of their journalists came out and said, hey, we've been told not to speak on it. We've been told X, Y, and Z. Well, why aren't y'all speaking on it? Because you speak on everything else. How come y'all didn't ask LeBron? Y'all love to ask LeBron all kind of political questions and stuff that don't have nothing to do with LeBron's monkey. Okay, let me not go there. But y'all love to ask me questions that don't have nothing to do with him. Why y'all didn't ask him about the Dana White or the other white man that do? How come you haven't asked all of these other stars and everybody else that you love to throw in the microphone in front of to ask, oh, what did you see what this Negro just did? How come you didn't ask them? But you don't have to ask them because the whole world is sitting back watching how you all are saying, let's be quiet about this. Let's not talk about this. And I'm laying my mic on that.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. Ray, you had your hand up earlier.
Go ahead, right? I ain't gonna lie. I really forgot what I was gonna say. I think it was about the whole Jerry Jones thing that I was gonna mention about how obviously he has all these allegations. Back when everyone was talking about Ray Rice and all these other people, but as you noticed, there was not a media press about what he did, and basically it just went away.
No, yeah, Ray. Jerry. Don't forget Jerry's a billionaire as well too. So he owns America's team, the Cowboys. So of course it went away. Let me go ahead and kick it to Professor. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic. We're gonna get to our last few speakers tonight. We got Professor. We got DJ. We got B More. B More. I know you had your hand up. I don't know if you still want to speak. And Christina, I'm definitely going to help you land that plane because I know you kind of steer it for a minute there. So I'll definitely help you land it. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, thank you, Newstoter. I just want to say, God, leave Newstoter somewhere if you land the plane. I just want to say, because in reference to Christina, as she was talking about Stephen A. And of course, Stephen A. of course is doing whatever to make his money. You are right, but Christina, let's look at one of those reporters that used to work at ESPN, probably as long as Stephen A. has been there. That was Jamel Hill. Now, if you don't know who she is, you might want to find out, because she spoke on political issues concerning us all the time, which is why ESPN got rid of her. See, you see what I'm saying? So you don't have to do what they tell you to do. You can go against what the folks tell you to do, especially when you know you are morally right in your position. Remember, this is something that Dr. King and Malcolm X spoke on, about the fact that when we get out here and fight for a cause, you're going to have everything turn against you, but you're fighting for the just cause, which is the right of your people to exist in this country that we built, called the United States of America. I want Black American families to understand that this is not about us trying to go and make money for our own selves or our selfish reasons. This is really for helping the people to build, helping our Black nation to build and become stronger and to repair. So when you spoke about Stephen A. making that money, I said, Jamel Hill didn't care about the money. Oh, sure. Well, yeah, she cared about the money, but she also said, no, I'm going to also have a platform to speak on Black issues. And ESPN got rid of her for that. So I just want to make you think of that you don't have to go with the cooning. You can go for what's right to help your people and get your people's issues out on the forefront. That's what we're supposed to be doing. I'm going to lay my plane there.
I don't want to cut in line. I'm gonna put my
don't cut in, Christina, because we're gonna get to you. Okay, so don't jump ahead of the other speakers. Okay, we got Professor just went. Now we go ahead, DJ. Go ahead and unmute your mic. We'll get to you, Christina. Hey, DJ, you there?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, DJ.
No, I just want to say, Christina, America is not a nation of immigrants. You can check the Jumbotron on the far left side. Go ahead, Brother McCool.
What up, fam? What up, fam? I was just wanted to definitely second a lot of shit that Trouble was saying. You got the Stephen A. Smiths and all these motherfuckers cooning. And, as far as, I'm like Trouble too with Diamond and Silk. I just look at those bootlicks like that. And this is just proof, bootlicking don't have no retirement plan. You know what I'm saying? And with Desantis, as far as all these immigrants, man, we already know the deal. You know what I'm saying? We know that they are trying to replace us. So what we I think our only strength right now is to definitely everybody get organized with these state acts of atonement and these federal the federal reparations plans. You need to just stick to that, go hard on that, and all of these collaborators and bootlicks that just want to stay with White Zaddy, man, this is the time where we gotta cut the cord. You know what I'm saying? Look, if you're running with them, you gotta run with them. Ain't no coming back though. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where we at right now. We gotta really be unapologetically with cleaning our ranks, and not just cleaning them, but just being unapologetic about it. You know what I'm saying? When somebody show you that they're fucking turncoat or they rather fuck with White Zaddy, they gone. Like we gotta stop being nice. Stop playing Mr. Nice Guy with these collaborators and these illegal aliens.
Real talk, brother. As always, glad to have you. Be more, Brother McCool. Okay, Christina, go ahead and unmute your mic and let's not go 10, 15 minutes.
I'm not. It's was waiting my turn, and I had a lot of things to say with so many subjects. But let me just stop. Okay, with Stephen A., I agree with what that gentleman was saying. As a sociologist, I was just wanting to point out, where he was coming from and what his perspective is. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to do what anybody in his position is going to do. You know what I'm saying? That does not mean I agree or, even disagree when you talk about people's behavior. So, he has a job and he's fulfilling his job, and ESPN is probably telling him, good job. So, that's all I was going to say about Stephen A. But that doesn't make what he did right at all. Because I am eye for an eye. I'm rather more vicious, Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? I'm more Old Testament. So I am more eye for an eye in the fact that when they hold Black men accountable for the mistreatment of women on any platform, yeah, we should be holding the opposite race, no matter what race it is, accountable. Oh, and I did catch that about the U.S. is not made of immigrants, and I understand exactly what you're talking about, but I don't want to go there. And so, but I would just feel that people should get the full treatment of whatever it is that they've implemented, and we are the ones to hold them accountable, because every Black man that I know watches ESPN faithfully. You know what I'm saying? Every day. All the time. You know what I'm saying? They don't watch nothing but ESPN or a movie. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that when it comes to the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, there is abuse and harassment amongst women. It's like a time old tale. So I think that white men in a white society, of course, they twist everything, and the way that it affects our community in the way that it affects our community, and that's why we're having these discussions. But the whole point of the movement, of those two movements, was to address a real issue that really is happening. You know what I'm saying? And it really is happening. I don't know how to explain that or prove that, because there's so many ways to do that. But women do get abused. Women do get harassed. You know what I'm saying? And because white people in this white society and the way that it affected our community is that they never made it in our favor. And Black women to this day still haven't quite caught up to the concept of you should not be treated like that. You know what I'm saying? You should not be sexualized like that. And so it still hasn't quite caught up to our community, because we are so much against what they told us it's done to us. You know what I'm saying? So feminism is so easily twisted because of the way feminism was indoctrinated to our community, that it's toxic feminism. And therefore, we all agree somehow, which not me, but I'm just saying, question mark, we all agree somehow that women don't deserve equal rights because Black women have become so toxic. And I think it's super important that we point that out. You know what I'm saying? Is that women deserve equal rights. You know what I'm saying? And that we don't like and toxic femininity behind the feminist movement has hurt us. But all of that is from these puppeteers, which any movement that we have, they are going to put it on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. They're going to put it every which way. How it hurt us is against us. And they are going to make laws like Section 8 where the man is no longer welcome in the home. Like, they're going to do all of that and to help us further believe that, treating your woman equally is not right. So I'm about to land my plane. What was I about to say? Is that anybody who wants equal rights, for sure, if you want equal rights for yourself, you have to truly understand what equal rights means. And that means that even if you don't like me, want me, believe in me, want anything to do with me, is that there's just a standard, you know what I'm saying, that we have made, you know what I'm saying, and that I deserve it just as much as you do. And your dick does not determine that you get those rights. The dick, a fucking genitalia, a bodily organ does not mean you get more rights than me. You know what I'm saying? That is not. So I'm just saying, but that's.
I mean, Christine, I kind of told you earlier to watch your language, so I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to go ahead and land it. Okay, and please don't say anymore. Just go ahead and hit the 30 seconds and land that plane, so we can go ahead and we're gonna close this space out. Go 30 seconds, counting.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry because it really that's just layman's terms. I'm sorry, that's just layman's terms. But I just think that when they twist for us in our community, anything good for us is made to be bad. A black man having a gun is made to be bad. You know what I'm saying? A black independent woman is made to be bad. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things, and like, so that's just kind of like where I land my plane. Yes, of course. You know what I'm saying? I've had a really great day. You know what I'm saying? I've had a really great day. I'm just saying that, like, that's why, that was just layman's terms, and that, like, equal rights is just saying, like, because you're white does not mean that I don't get my rights, and your genitalia,
okay,
does not mean.
Okay, Christina, thank you. We appreciate you tonight. You've been a good speaker, so thank you. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get ready to close it out on that end like that. So I'm gonna let the co-host Ray and DJ get a final word in, and then the host is gonna go ahead and close it out. Ray, go ahead.
I'm good, brother. Great space, go dogs.
DJ, you got it.
Great space, go dogs.
All right, great space, go Florida State. Oh, I forgot they didn't play in the championship. Might as well have put them there instead of TCU. But but thank you everybody for coming out tonight again. We've had 2 back-to-back great spaces, and like I say, I appreciate it. Thank you to the co-hosts and the speakers and the listeners and everybody who went ahead and tweeted out the space. We will definitely see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for everybody who contributed on Cash App as well too. We definitely appreciate that. Definitely, guys, not sure exactly what the space is going to be tomorrow, but we'll find something worthwhile to talk about. So I just want to wish everybody a good night.
Hey, real quick. Hey, so you heard about what the LSU situation is about the coaching of football players with the little running the train? I don't know if you heard that. That might be a small space, y'all.
Oh, I think I heard something about that. I don't know if I heard that. I heard something. It was something.
I'm gonna text it to you.
Okay. Yeah. We may have to go ahead and see about that tomorrow. But so yeah, man. Let me go ahead and say thank you to everybody once again, y'all. We will see y'all. Y'all know the time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to all my people that listen also on YouTube as well. Not a big crowd over there, but still appreciate you guys coming over there as well too. We're trying to grow that. So like I said, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter as well, and support us on Cash App. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Also support us if you got a PayPal or Venmo account as well too. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys tomorrow. So thank you.